All right, I have with me Joe Henry. What's your actual title?
I'm actually, I'm actually the executive director of tourism up at Lake of the Woods.
And I don't know if you know it or not, but you probably live on one of the best fishing lakes in the state. Tell us about, for those people that have never been to Lake of the Woods, what's it like up there?
Well, I'll tell you, Lake of the Woods, we call it, it's been coined for decades, the walleye capital of the world. And we literally have millions of walleyes and saugers up there. And, it's a big body of water. We have the Rainy River that feeds Lake of the Woods, which is a good fishery in its own right. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have the big open waters of Big Traverse Bay. Mm-hmm. And then that little tip of Minnesota that sticks up into Canada is called the Northwest Angle. Yeah. That's actually the northernmost point of the contiguous U.S., and that's where the 14,552 islands of our lake begin. So, Lake of the Woods is not only a lake that you can catch numbers of fish, but we also have that big walleye gene in there.
So you bet. The genetics there are incredible.
They are good, and we have toolies. And walleyes that get big, they feed on toolies. That's one of the criteria, really. So, but we get our 30 to 33 inch fish, and 33 is our rarity. But I mean, we get some big walleyes, and they're very consistent. We also have a slot limit up there. 19 and a half inches to 28 inches must be released. So we're sustaining the walleye population. If you want to keep one over 28, you're welcome to. But otherwise, most people keep their eaters by law under 19 and a half.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that a lot of people don't understand about Lake of the Woods is these resorts. They do great things. They contribute to the local economy, all of that. But also, if you just want to have a stress-free fishing trip, I know I been up there a couple times with my own boat, and you got the travel, the lodging, all that stuff. But you can also go out on one of these guide boats and just have everything done for you. It is a little bit more expensive, but it's absolutely worth it.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody's in a different position, and you got to consider we welcome people bringing their own boats up. You bring your own boat up, and you get a trailer a long ways usually, and then you got to navigate. You got to know how to navigate. You got to find the fish. You got to find dock space so your trailer is off every day. Whereas people that maybe don't fish so much, it's so nice to be able to drive up with a group of friends or relatives or whatever the case might be. You stay at a nice resort, so you go up there, you have dinner that first night. The next morning you wake up, you have breakfast, you go step on a charter boat. Rods, reel, tackle, bait, licensed charter captain. Everything's provided. And those captains, they are dialed. They're networked with other captains. They out there every single day, and they're going to give you a really quality fishing experience. You go out at 8, you come back at 5. They clean the fish for you, so you go to happy hour or go to your cabin or whatever, And then the next question, of course, is, would you like the fish prepared tonight at the resort for fresh shore lunch, or would you like to freeze it to bring it home? Yeah. And so it's just a nice way to get people into fishing that don't have a big boat, they don't have the know-how. Yeah. Maybe they're intimidated by big water. And it's also even people that want to bring their own boat up. It's a nice way to learn the water a little bit. True. Just get the lay of the land.
Yep, and guides are always willing. I remember I went up to Wigwam Resort a couple years ago, and I was launching, and there was just somebody from one of the other resorts. And he asked me, what resort are you staying at? And I told him I was at Wigwam, and he just stood there for 10 minutes talking to me. Oh yeah, I'm waiting for a client right now. He gave me all the, use a gold jig and a shiner and this and that, and they're always willing to help. The one thing when I went up there is I went up there for hunting and fishing. I'm a cast and blast guy. I'm from Otter Tail County. I fish and hunt as much as I can. I can't choose between the two. So, but Baudette especially and Warroad, those areas, tens of thousands of acres of national forest, of state forest. You have grouse hunting, deer hunting, goose and duck hunting. I hunted 4 Mile Bay. The fishing on the lake. I mean, do you ever run out of things to do?
No, there really isn't. It's kind of cool. You talk about the grouse hunting, and Lake of the Woods area, we don't get the numbers of hunters that just happen to live in central or southern Minnesota. We just don't have as many people. Yeah. And we have way more land, literally tens of thousands of acres of public hunting land. So you take Beltrami Island State Forest as an example. You can have a big chunk of land, but if you can't access it, how good is it? This has dirt roads through it. It has ATV trails. It
Hunter walking trails.
Dedicated walking trails. That's a joint effort between the Rough Grouse Society of Lake of the Woods and the Minnesota DNR. Really a success story. What a walking trail is where there's a sign. It's a dedicated walking trail. You park your vehicle there, and you can look right on the sign. It shows you the path through the woods. And when you make a big loop, it always ends up right back at your vehicle, so you can't get lost. And the grouse habitat, some of the best grouse hunting you'll ever find. In fact, we have 3 species of grouse. We have rough, spruce, and sharptail. And so it's really kind of a neat deal up there. And you talk about the duck hunting. You know, we get a lot of waterfowl, a lot of divers coming through.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go in 4 Mile Bay or Zipple Bay or Bostic Bay, any of those areas, you get out there and there's patches of reeds. You go out there with a 16-foot wand, tuck into the reeds. Yeah. You put 2 groups of decoys out, and if those birds are around, they're going to find you.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I had one day where I shot a wood duck, a mallard, a ringneck, a bluebill, and a gadwall. Five ducks, 5 different species.
Isn't that cool?
What a day! Yeah.
We actually have up at the Northwest Angle. We actually have layout boat hunting. So we have some guides up there that you go in that big water and you lay out in that, and you lay right on the water, and you're like flat with the water. Those big flocks of divers will come.
Yeah.
And then you're popping up from the water, pop, pop, pop. It's a blast.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna plan a trip up there to do that someday. I'm a diver head. I love diver ducks. So, so your involvement here with Minfish. Why are you here today, and how important is it for us anglers to be involved in stuff like this?
Well, I'm on the board of directors. I'm privileged to be on the board of directors for Minfish, and you know, I'm here just to support. You know, the mission of Minfish is to promote quality sports fishing throughout the state of Minnesota. So, you know, we have both a nonprofit, a C3, and then we also have the C4, which is a legislative arm that we do. And, you know, both are important. You know, whether you like politics or not, that's where a lot of the laws are made, and that's where a lot of the funding comes from. So, you know, just a few years ago, we were instrumental in getting Governor Walz this year. When we told Governor Walz that sports fishing in the state of Minnesota has a $6.6 billion impact to our economy in Minnesota, that's actually more than the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
So we got his ear, and then it so happened there was a budget surplus that year. So consequently, you know, millions of dollars were allocated towards our initiatives to the DNR. Things like upgrading our dilapidated fish hatcheries, creating better boat ramps, or maybe new boat ramps, creating shore fishing opportunities, a number of things that positively affect fishing for Minnesotans and for the tourism that comes in that's so important to our areas.
Absolutely. You're also involved in Keep It Clean, a project I really believe in. I've met some people that are involved in it. What was the simple idea behind it? Where did it start?
Well, about 13 years ago, I'm one of the original members of Keep It Clean, and 13 years ago up at Lake of the Woods, the Friends of Zipple Bay State Park do an annual beach cleanup every spring, and just so happened that spring the wind was blowing in just right, and they got literally 5 trailer loads full of garbage. That's the stuff that floated. And we said to ourselves, geez, this is one small area of the lake. What sunk? And if it wouldn't have blown in this way, where would this debris have gone? And Lake of the Woods is a big lake, you know? So we said, we got to do something. So we got a group of stakeholders together. Mike Hurst at Lake of the Woods Soil and Water Conservation District really kind of organized the stakeholders. Myself with Lake of the Woods Tourism, we got DNR Fisheries, DNR Enforcement, Lake of the Woods County, Roseau County, and some other stakeholders. And we all came together and put our heads together. And really what we've done now is, fast forward 13 years, we have a group that has 60 formal organizations that have joined our group. You can join for free. You just have to sign an agreement that you're going to not use our logo or put out false messaging, things like that. Simple. But we have 60 groups representing over 1,500 lakes in Minnesota that are all about Keep It Clean right now. And in fact, we just actually passed some legislation within the last couple of years called the Keep It Clean Law. And that law says that when you go on ice now, it's actually illegal to either to place garbage or waste on or below the ice. You have to keep it in your fish house, you've got to keep it in your vehicle, or an enclosed container. And I'll tell you why that's important, is that good-meaning people, they go out and stay overnight. They put their garbage bags outside the fish house, and some freeze in. The wind blows some, snow covers some, birds get in and rip them apart. Bad things are happening to good people who had good intentions. By not having that waste and garbage go on the ice at all, just by happenstance, we're literally keeping tons and tons of garbage off of the ice. So we think it's a great law. It's been adopted very nicely, and I think it's making a difference.
And I think it's important to look at those lakes, not just Lake of the Woods that receives millions of people every year, but the lakes in Undertow County, lakes around here, to get involved in those lake cleanup days, volunteer for organizations like that. It's a small thing, but like in the grand scheme of things, over the years, it's vital.
It adds up. And I tell people too, I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not some, I care about the environment because I'm an outdoors person.
Yeah.
I hunt, I fish, and I appreciate it. I want this, our great Minnesota around for generations to come. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And I'm asking people one last question is, if you had to pick a favorite species, you can only fish that species the rest of your life. I'm guessing you're going to say walleye. So I'm going to go a little bit further with you. What's the one like specific method of catching walleyes that's your favorite?
Yeah, you know what? For me, it'd be walleye, no doubt. And I fish walleye tournaments. I've been a walleye net my whole life. In fact, I tell my good buddies who are bass guys, I sometimes ask them if they've been perhaps dropped on their head as a child. That's just a joke. The old rift between the walleye and bass people. But no, I'd fish walleyes. I'll tell you my go-to technique, just because it works so effectively everywhere I go. Pulling spinners with crawlers. You can pull a spinner, you cover water, everything eats it. You can pull it shallow, you can pull it deep. I do a lot of seminars, and that's one of the tactics that I'll feature. You put a 2-ounce bottom bouncer on it, and that 2-ounce bouncer will work in 5 feet of water as well as 30 feet. You got the vibration, you got the color, you got the scent of the crawler, 2-hook harness. I pinch that crawler off. I don't want that much tailing off that back hook. I want just a couple inches. That's all you need.
Yep.
I'll tell you that technique, if you pull that around at 1.25 miles per hour at a 90-degree angle, you will catch walleyes.
Absolutely, and I think it's one of those tactics that you don't need $10,000 worth of technology in your boat to do.
You don't need technology at all. You just and you can fish so nice because you can fish it shallow. You can if you see on your electronics that you have a deep hole coming up, you can slide down to that deep hole and fish that effectively, and you'll catch everything. You catch big pike, and big bass, and big sunfish, and big perch. I mean, everything hits a spinner.
Yeah.
It's just and it's also nice for people that are not real savvy at fishing. Rather than having to do a jig bite and watch it hit them on the drop, and if you're pulling a spinner, that fish is going to load up. A lot of times it'll hook itself.
I almost exclusively fish for panfish with spinners. I tie my own little spinners, and my wife likes to be on the boat. She hates like casting, but like I can put it around in your hand and just hold. I mean, for those people that maybe elderly people, kids, it's so much easier for them to just hold and just wait for that bite. So it's a great fishing tool that way.
Up at Lake of the Woods in the months of July and August, our charter captains make a living on spinners. I mean, those big charter boats will go out and just drift great big flats with thousands and thousands of walleyes, and they'll pick it away and it's just a good technique.
Yeah, I highly recommend if you haven't made the pilgrimage up north, get up there, especially if you're a cast and blast guy like me in the fall. That wigwam trip was, and I mostly, for the most part, I stayed on the river and in the bay. I went out to the big bay a couple times, but I was catching tons of fish right in front of wigwam, right there. Like you could see my cabin right on the river. You don't have to go 10 miles across the lake.
Nope.
You can find some really easy fishing. You don't need a 20-foot boat. You can get out on the river with a fairly accessible boat that most people have.
Our Rainy River is relatively small, and you always hear about the walleye fish on the river spring of the year and in the fall when there's a shiner run.
Yeah.
But there's walleyes that live there all year long.
Sure. Yeah.
And not only that, we got our great sturgeon fishing, great smallmouth fish on the river.
We caught a big old sturgeon too.
Yeah, and you go in the river, and you can have the river almost all to yourself in the summer. Yeah. And there's some really good fish. In fact, I've filmed some TV shows in the summer.
Sure.
You just work shorelines, you'll catch multi-species.
Crappies too are in there too. Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
There's some key dots on the Rainy River that people know. There's some monster big black crappie.
Yep, I actually caught into some that year I was there. I appreciate your time. If they want more information about Keep It Clean or Lake of the Woods Tourism, where do they go?
You know what? For Lake of the Woods Tourism, just check out our website. It's Lake of the Woods MN for Minnesota. LakeoftheWoodsMN.com. And for Keep It Clean, it's keepitcleanmn.org.
Okay, get involved and good luck out there. Thank you, Joe.
Appreciate it.